Hi, I'm Jennifer Hirsch, the Beauty Botanist, and welcome to the little series I've been doing at the Body Shop on gardening at home. Today we're going to look at pots, containers where your plant lives, and how to upcycle some of the Body Shop's clever pots into fabulous containers for plants at home. So we're going to start out by talking about why a pot is important. A pot's really important because for your plant, it's its entire planet. It's where it eats, it's where it grows, it's where it gets its water. It's an entire life is based in that pot, and it can't get up and walk away. So you need to make sure you're giving it what it needs in terms of nutrition and in terms of water to make sure that it's happy. And that goes for picking the right spot for it to live in too, which we'll talk about in another video. So when you pick up your plant from a garden center, you might find that it comes in one of these little pots. They're great in that they have holes and drainage, but frankly, they're not that aesthetic. So I've got a whole collection of handy different sizes of pots that I can sit them in. They're called cache-pot, fancy French word, but basically they have no drainage holes. And that's an issue for your plant. So you don't want to plant directly into something that doesn't have drainage holes. So think about that when you're picking where your plant is going to live. And there are lots of options that I've acquired over years. Here's another one that's great. I love the aesthetic of it, but I keep my plant in that fabulous plastic pot because it does the right job for the plant. At the same time, you can get plants with saucers. So my aloe, which lives in my greenhouse in the summer and in my house in the winter, is in a fabulous pot that comes with its very own handy saucer. And what I love best about this is that it's waterproof. So it's not going to damage my furniture if I put it on a piece of wood or on a windowsill. Be really careful with terracotta, top tip, unless it's glazed either on the inside or the outside, terracotta saucers absorb the water and will leave a damp mark on the surface of your furniture, which I've found out to my peril. So let's get started and look at how we can transform some of those handy Body Shop containers into fantastic pots for your home. So almost anything can be turned into a container to grow plants in. Over the years, I've turned welly boots, shopping carts, almost anything you can think of into a container for plants. My watering can rusted out. It's now home to my chili. So we thought we'd share with you how to upcycle and make the most of some of your common containers from the Body Shop. I have here a little yogurt pot, and it's ideal for small plants. And I have a little jade or money plant that someone gave me as a gift in a PR bag and has been languishing in a tiny pot. So I'm going to put the two together and get a great planter with a saucer. So you start by making sure your container is clean. I've removed the label, but I don't always. And I'm going to put the saucer to one side, used to be a lid, now a saucer. And I'm going to grab a handy drill and punch some holes into the bottom of this pot. This is really important. Your plant needs drainage, no matter what it is. Cactus, tropical plant, they all want drainage. So make sure you have a handy drill to use, and then we'll get started. Right, so my husband's not fond of me borrowing his tools, but in this case, we'll make an exception. I'm going to punch 3 holes into the bottom of the pot. And that should be enough for the drainage for my little plant. Now, I've picked a compost that's right for this plant. It is a cactus and succulent compost, very loose, very free draining, and that's what this plant wants. But for most things, you can just use kind of a bog standard houseplant compost or a seed compost, which is what I have most of. So I'm going to start by filling the bottom of my pot. And a handy tip, before I tip my plant out of its pot, I'm going to sit it into the pot I'm planting it in so I can work out just how deep it's going to be. So I think I've put about enough in. I'm going to give it a little squeeze, tip it out of its pot. and loosen the roots just a teeny bit. Give it a tickle. Put it in a pot and add compost. And you can see tamping down as I go gently. So I don't want to push on the plant itself because I don't want to affect any of its roots. But I want to make sure that there are no air pockets, because an air pocket, the roots will go into that air pocket and they'll dry out. So you want to make sure it's nicely tamped down. So there you go. It needs a bit of a clean, but my jade plant's pretty much ready to go. I need to give it a bit of a drink. So I'm in love with these handy little nozzles that are perfect for upcycling a 2-liter bottle into a really handy watering can. And I've watered my plant and I'm going to let it sit. It's that simple. I love these little pots from the Body Shop and use them for all sorts of things, including seed sowing. Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's the perfect solution.